Yeah, it's your boy AG, Cornerman Boxing. I have the pleasure to be on the phone with Mr. Benjy Esteves Jr., Hall of Famer. First of all, thank you for your time, sir. And how do you feel today?
My pleasure. I feel very good. Thank you for having me. Very nice.
So I've been looking forward to speak to you because I feel like you're one of the best officials in the game, best referees, and a lot of people might not know. It might go a little unnoticed. All the experience you have and the knowledge you might have and the sweet science, and that's pretty much what I wanted to speak about.
I appreciate that, but I'm just one of many. I don't get caught up with the accolades, but it's nice to be appreciated. Thank you.
Right. So you were born originally in Milwaukee, and then you grew up here in New York City. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yes, my family had moved into well, we didn't live there very long. It's too cold for them. They went back to Puerto Rico the next year, and then they came. They came back to New York, and that's where I was raised.
Right.
I didn't live very long in Milwaukee, but yes, that's accurate.
Did you begin your boxing career in New York?
Say that again.
Did you begin your boxing career in New York?
I used to spar. My brother used to box. My uncle was a professional fighter, and I had two cousins that used to box. I kind of grew up around it, and when I wanted to get involved, I was a little up there in age, so someone recommended that I become a referee, and the rest is history, I guess.
Right. Can you recall maybe some of the gyms you used to train at back then? Some of the history from those
Yeah,
days.
yeah, they had the Times Square gym on 42nd Street, and then when I moved to Brooklyn, later on in my life, I used to work out at the Bath Beach Boxing Gym, and I can't remember exactly what neighborhood it was, but it was in Brooklyn.
Okay. And what inspired you? Because I was reading a little bit and I saw that like you said, you sparred, but you might have been a bit older by that time. But what really inspired you to go into the refereeing side aspect of it?
Well, I used to watch Joe Cortez and my good friend Joe Cortez and Tony Perez. And I always, they were Puerto Rican, and I was very proud of them. And this is one of the things I used to say, and I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but I used to say, Perez, Cortez, maybe one day Esteves. So that they were my inspiration. I know it's funny, but it's true. Yeah, it's true. Now, I did want to be a basketball referee. That was really what I really wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to be an NBA referee. But I noticed that there wasn't enough minority back then, so I kind of got disillusioned by it.
Wow.
And, yeah, but who knows what would happen.
Were you always a fan of basketball, or how did that interest come
Oh,
about?
yeah. I'm a Knicks fan.
Nice.
I know I changed things, but I'll always be a Knicks fan, die hard, and no matter what, I'll always be a Knicks fan. So yes, I used to.
you were around for the championships they won. Well, I believe it was
Oh,
it
yeah.
72. I think they won.
Back in the day, yes, yes. I
Nice.
don't remember the years, but yes, I was there.
So
I was a fan. I was there.
Mr. Estevez, one of the things that stands out to me is like yeah, you have a great amateur experience as well, and I wanted to touch on the importance of developing that amateur experience when you go into the professionals.
Okay. Every now and then when some of the programs here that they have in Jersey, they ask me to come in when they have new officials that want to come into their programs, and I basically I tell them what I did. I was in the amateur for 10 years, and 7 in New York and 3 in Jersey before. I was asked if I wanted to turn pro by Mr. Hazard, and one of the things that I tell the new officials is that think of what will be their hardest fight in the amateurs. And some of them have told me, because some of them have already worked and they're aspiring to become professionals. So I tell them, think about being ready, being prepared. It's like a champion in boxing. You don't want to become champion, you want to stay champion. So when you become an official, you want to be a good official, you have to put in your time. And your toughest fight would be for example, they fight 3-4 rounds now. In the amateurs, I believe it's 3 or 5. And if you take that, multiply it by 12, by 4, you have 12 rounds. And thousands of people watching you and millions of people watching you on TV. I said, are you ready for that? And that's when I tell them, make sure that you prepare yourself for something like that.
Wow.
So I usually tell them to stay 5 years at least, because they're also, it's not fair to the amateur program that you should use them as a jumping board for your career.
Wow.
So that the kids can benefit from your work as well. You know, it's a two-way street. And that's my philosophy on that. Put in your time. Now you have people that maybe they're in central United States, maybe small cities. They don't get the work that we get in the Northeast and Florida and Nevada and California, for example. So if you don't get that kind of work, then you got to go out and go to the nationals or go to a city where they have a lot of boxing. You can get the work in. 5 years would be good, but if you're in a place where it's isolated and you don't have much boxing, 5 years is not going to help you.
Wow, I see. That's interesting. And I mean, like it stands out to me how going into the professional ranks now, how you carry this professionalism that I find it's how can you say it's impressive, man. You and very consistent in your work. Where do you gain these attributes from, or how do you stay so consistent?
Well, one of the things that I tell people is it's nice to. So I had a person that asked me, how does it feel to be up in the ring? And I says, it's nice when these fighters go back home, nobody goes to the hospital, and you do your job. And just like the fighters, you're only as good as your last fight.
Wow.
So I don't worry about whether I'm doing a title match or a 4-rounder, because that 4-rounder is just as important to a champion in a 12-rounder. So I want to give him or her, because we have women boxing now, I want to give them the same work that I give the championship bouts. The same emphasis. I try to stay humble. I'm very low key. And I'm not criticizing anyone. I don't have a jacket with my name on it or anything like that. I just like to keep a low profile, do my job, give me my check, let me go home.
Yeah, I've noticed you're very good with the spotlight. Like you don't, like you said, you're not really focused on that, and that thing plays a part in how you remain consistent and professional.
It's all about the fighters. It's not about me.
Right. So, I mean, Mr. Esteves, let me ask you, you have an illustrious career this far. You've officiated some of the biggest bouts in history. What kind of goals do you have left in your career?
I'm mentoring. I'm mentoring a lot of guys right now. Working with Ricky Gonzalez. I work with a lot of guys from New York, Shade Murdoch. I'm working with Eric Daly. Anyone that's willing and needs help. I work with some of the guys from Washington, D.C., Brent Bovo. And whenever I see my colleagues work on TV, I text them to commend them. Sometimes they text me when they need information and stuff like that. So I work with a lot of people across the states. I would like to continue that. Not sure what availabilities are. I would like to be a commentator one day, but it's very tough to get into that as well. If it happens, it happens.
Right. Now, you've also officiated in some of the most historic venues and arenas. What would you say is probably the most special arena you've ever been a part of, been able to work in?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to go, I used to actually sneak in to the Garden to see the Knicks, and then I would sneak in sometimes to go watch the Rangers. So I kind of grew up at the Garden, and for me, the first time that I was doing a big fight at the Garden, I went and sat where I used to sit as a kid, back in the blue seats, because I also used to go to a lot of boxing matches. And I would have to say Madison Square Garden was very, very special. Worked at the Blue Horizon, which was a very small venue in Pennsylvania, but it was very iconic.
Right.
And when I worked there, I got there real early because I wanted to get it out of my system. I wanted to sit. I sat upstairs. Yeah, I did. I did the same thing. I sat upstairs because, you don't want to get caught up in the moment. You just want to take it in, and this way when the bell rings, you just do your thing. It's just you and the two fighters. But yes, Madison Square Garden, I also got an opportunity to work at the MGM. I got a chance to work in Vegas.
Right.
And I also got to have another venue. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's a relatively new arena. I got a chance to work there as well. I did the Canelo match with Triple G, so that was pretty special.
Oh, was that the T-Mobile Arena? Was that?
Yes, that's it. Exactly.
Okay. Now,
T-Mobile.
I have to ask you, Mr. Esther, what was the most special or memorable bout that you might have officiated, in the past?
Well, my first world title was Trinidad and Larry Vine, so that'll always be special to me. One of the most big ones that I thought was really, really special was Prince Nassim's first fight in the United States, and that was against Kevin Kelly. I think that was probably one of my highlights. I've had an opportunity to work Hoffman. Gaddy, I did 5 of his fights. Cotto, I've worked him twice, but I would have to say, to answer your question, and Kelly probably is right up there. And of course, Triple G and Canelo.
Triple G, Canelo as well?
Say again?
You said Triple G and Canelo as well?
Yes, because, that was a pretty big fight.
Right. I also noted that you officiated, was it the Pernell Whitaker and Tito Trinidad?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, I was, the garden was going crazy.
All right, Mr. Esteves. Well, I appreciate your time and all the information you were able to share with us. And like I said, it's a real honor for me to speak to, a man with your experience and background, and, I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to meet you, buddy.
All right, absolutely. And I look forward to, being around for the next fights you're able to officiate. It's always an honor.
Pleasure's mine, man. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Esteves.